My name is Emma Sullivan, 33, and I thought I knew my boyfriend, Michael Bennett, 35, inside and out. We'd been together for just over 18 months, and he'd moved into my apartment 8 months ago. I worked as a graphic designer, often buried in deadlines and digital chaos, while Michael had a comfortable job in real estate development, enough to live well, but nothing flashy. That afternoon, I was on my lunch break, sorting through the list of groceries we'd bring for Christmas dinner at his parents' house. Michael's mom had called, her voice bright with practiced cheer. "Could you grab the roast and the good napkins? The ones with the gold edge? And plates? Yours are chipped." I told her we could handle sides and dessert. She paused. "Emma, it's Christmas. Don't be stingy." I glanced at Michael. He squeezed my hand. "We've got our own bills," I whispered. He nodded, quietly conflicted. Christmas at Michael's parents' home was ritualistic and tense. The plastic nativity on the mantel, older than me. A paper snowman missing one eye. Mom's playlist, the same CD from 2008, looping with holiday classics that sounded flat, like echoes of expectation. Michael's brother, Nate, rolled in late with his son, Max, 9 and wild, already the center of the room. Mom called him my little man, the rest of us more like temporary guests. We carried casseroles and cookies, my hand brushing Lily's shoulder, her tiny fingers clutching a wrapped drawing for Nana, crooked stick figures under a lopsided tree. She looked up at me, wide-eyed. "Is this okay?" I smiled. Perfect. Coats were draped over chairs, shoes off, floors just polished. Dad, nodding at Michael, said, "Help me with the roast, champ." Lily peeked into the dining room. The table was immaculate. Red runner, 8 plates, shiny silverware. She pointed at a bare square. "Where do I sit?" I gestured beside me. Mom clapped. Everyone to the table. But she set a plate in front of Max before he even sat. A second helping awaited him on a side dish. Max grinned like he owned the universe. Lily slid into her chair, her small hands folded neatly. She looked at her placemat. No plate, no fork, just a sticky smear from last year's candy cane. I tried to keep my voice light. "Hey, Mom, we need a place setting for Lily." Mom didn't look up. "There wasn't enough. She upset Max, remember?" I felt Michael's knee brush mine. "What?" I whispered. Nate shrugged, unconcerned. Lily whispered softly, "I said sorry." Mom waved her hand. "We don't reward bad behavior." Max reached for seconds. Mom served him with a laugh. "Growing boy." Lily folded her hands in her lap, lips a thin line. I felt my own voice tighten, flat and sharp. "We're going to head out," I said. Mom's smile went sharp. "Emma, don't be dramatic." Nate smirked. "It's Christmas." I stood, Michael stood, Lily stood. We gathered our gifts, still wrapped. No one tried to stop us. Dad watched silently as the TV turned off. Outside, the winter air cut like a knife. Lily climbed in and buckled quietly. Michael's eyes were wet, but calm. I didn't speak. Hands on the wheel, I told myself, don't make a scene. The house shrank in the rearview mirror. Mom's CD still played faintly behind closed doors. I didn't check my phone, not yet. Lily came into our lives after a long, exhausting adoption process. I remembered the day the judge banged the gavel. Lily clutched a stuffed fox and whispered, "Am I yours now?" I said, "Forever." I meant it so hard it hurt. Michael's parents had taken a photo with the judge. Mom framed it between 2 of Max's pictures. At family dinners, she'd point to it like a souvenir. Nate stayed neutral until he realized adoption didn't include baby showers or gift registries. He calls Lily your girl. Max calls her not really cousin. Money runs the room like gravity in Michael's family. I've helped with bills, loans, and repairs quietly over the years. Michael and I budget carefully. We don't splurge, but we plan, and we protect Lily. The first hit came at that dinner. Lily had no plate. Max got seconds. The room bent around one child as if the universe had no other rule. My old instincts, fix it, smooth it over, keep peace, rose up. But Lily's hands, folded like a prayer, awakened something older, the part of me that refuses to let anyone make my child small. We left. Back home, I heated chicken nuggets, added carrot sticks. Lily ate under a blanket that smelled like laundry soap, giving running commentary on a movie. She didn't mention the table, didn't ask why. Later, my phone buzzed. 9 missed calls from Mom, 4 from Dad, 2 from Nate. We need to talk about Emma. A text from Mom. Please don't embarrass us with a scene. I hadn't said a word. At 9:47 p.m., Dad finally texted directly. Rent due tomorrow. I stared. Michael saw my face. I held up the phone. He closed his eyes and exhaled. Of course, he said. We didn't respond. We put Lily to bed, turned off the tree lights, and sat at the small kitchen table that smelled like coffee and winter. I lay awake longer than I should have, replaying Lily's hands on that bare placemat and the way Mom looked at me when I asked for a plate, like I'd asked her to split the ocean. Around midnight, Nate texted in the group chat, Bro, you made Max cry. Pay the rent and stop being weird. I put the phone face down. I slept. Not well, but I slept. The morning brought pale winter light and quiet. Lily padded in wearing fuzzy socks. Is today still Christmas? Yes, which means pancakes, I said. Chocolate chip. She grinned. Michael kissed the top of my head and left for a short shift. After pancakes, I checked our bank app. Grocery transactions, side dishes, gifts, all accounted for. The family chat was already alive. Mom, Dad, and Nate bickering over last night's events, twisting context, blaming me. I scrolled, paused, and saved the evidence. Photos, videos, voice notes. Then I typed a single, clear message. Last night, you didn't set a place for my daughter. You said there wasn't enough because she upset Max. He got seconds. We left. The typing dots exploded. Mom protested. Nate mocked. Dad barked about rent. I exhaled, my thumb hovering. Then I did something simple. I set boundaries. I dropped screenshots into the family chat. I wrote clearly, calmly, I will not pay your rent. I will not be part of events where Lily is excluded. Only discuss money with actual bills attached. Do not contact Michael about this. Silence, then chaos. Mom, Dad, Nate, all typing at once. The doorbell rang at 10:40. Dad, alone, coat pressed neat, looked tired, hopeful, ashamed. I opened the door, chain on. Hi, he said softly. Let's be adults about this. I held up my hand. Dad, I adopted a child. I budget for her. Last night she had no plate. I am her mother first. That's my whole job. He swallowed. We reached a fragile understanding. He handed me a Christmas card. I took it without opening. I went back to Lily. Want to help me make cocoa? She nodded. Marshmallows, of course. The kitchen smelled sweet and sane. My phone buzzed. I didn't pick it up. Boundaries feel loud to those who prefer silence. Outside, snowflakes drifted, and I realized protecting Lily sometimes means quiet defiance, and that's how love looks. The morning after Christmas felt like a quiet battlefield. Sunlight sliced through the blinds in pale, deliberate stripes. Lily patted in, pink socks sliding across the floor. Did I do something wrong at Christmas? She asked, eyes wide and earnest. No, sweetheart, I said, brushing a loose strand of hair from her forehead. You did great. She looked relieved, but still puzzled. Will Nana like me later? That's Nana's job, I said. Yours is to be you. Michael kissed my temple, whispered, We handle it together, and left for his short shift. Alone with Lily, I sipped lukewarm coffee, thinking about patterns that stretch for years. Max gets first servings, Max gets seconds, Lily gets nothing. Small, subtle signals that stack until they feel like gravity pulling you down. Over the next 2 days, I traced back every moment where Lily had been made secondary. Gifts, family dinners, phone calls, casual dismissals. Michael and I had always tried to navigate these waters quietly, budgeting, planning, avoiding conflict. But the holidays made the imbalance impossible to ignore. I created a running list in my notes app. 12 months of favors and emergency payments to Michael's parents. Special treats purchased for Max that were never reciprocated. Instances where Lily's achievements or drawings were ignored, while Max received attention for the smallest things. Michael leaned over my shoulder as I tallied the numbers. He's a calm man, but I could feel his tension. You don't have to do this alone, he said. I know, I replied, but someone has to remember. It was hard to reconcile my love for him and his family with the creeping sense that I and Lily were always secondary. The family chat erupted mid-afternoon. Mom demanded money. Nate mocked us. Dad insisted rent needed paying immediately. Each message was a subtle accusation, a test. How far would I bend? I scrolled back through old messages, screenshots, and photos. One picture was from dinner last night. 8 places set, except Lily's. Another video showed Max being served seconds, while Lily folded her hands in her lap, silent and invisible. I could feel my anger building, but so did resolve. I couldn't let history repeat itself. Lily had a right to be seen, to be protected. My fury was tempered by love. This was about safety, fairness, and respect. That afternoon, Michael suggested we sit down and plan a response. His voice was calm, a counterpoint to my growing storm. I think we should set rules, I said. Clear lines. No one makes Lily small. No one manipulates money. Only documented requests. No assumptions. And if we leave, with dignity. Michael nodded. I'm with you, but it might sting. It will, I said. But it's better than silently losing ourselves. Lily, meanwhile, was oblivious to the tension. She crafted little paper foxes, drew colorful stick figures, and hummed under her breath. Her innocence was fierce in its own way, a reminder that the stakes weren't just about money or pride, but about protecting her sense of self. Michael's mom called again, cheerful and insistent. Can you cover this? We need it today. I ignored the call. Michael frowned, but didn't say anything. He trusted me. That trust felt heavy and precious. By evening, I had organized all evidence, photos, videos, receipts, dates, and transgressions meticulously recorded. It was methodical, almost clinical, but necessary. The story they told themselves about being generous could no longer erase the reality. Lily had been treated unfairly for years, and this time I wasn't staying silent. That night, after Lily went to bed, Michael and I sat at the small kitchen table. We reviewed messages from Mom, Dad, and Nate. I felt the familiar tightness in my chest, the weight of expectation, but also a rare clarity. I don't want to fight, Michael said quietly. I don't either, I replied. But love isn't about bending yourself into someone else's definition of right. Not for Lily, not for us. We created a plan. Boundaries first, compassion second. No money without bills. No events where Lily was excluded. No manipulation, no guilt. Each point felt like a declaration of independence. Foreshadowing lingered in the quiet of the apartment. Mom would likely push again. Nate would mock again. Dad might try to negotiate. But the core principle was clear. We would not compromise Lily's place in the family, not even subtly. For a brief moment, Michael and I allowed ourselves a small smile. A snowstorm was outside, tiny flakes catching in the streetlights. We made cocoa. Lily curled on the couch beside us. The warmth of chocolate, soft blankets, and quiet trust felt like a small victory. The next morning, I sent the first clear message to the family chat. I will not pay your rent. I will not participate in events where Lily is excluded. Only discuss money with actual bills attached. Do not contact Michael about this. The typing dots appeared all at once. Protests, excuses, mockery. Mom tried reasoning. Dad insisted on rent. Nate mocked. I ignored it. That night, I lay in bed and replayed Lily's small hands on the bare placemat, the flicker of disappointment in her eyes. I realized that boundaries weren't just about money. They were about love, protection, and teaching Lily that she deserves respect, always. The following Sunday, Michael and I drove to the library, the car silent, except for Lily humming to herself in the back seat. The fluorescent lights inside made everyone look flat, almost unreal. Michael's mom, Karen Bennett, wore her nicest sweater. Dad, Robert, had the coat he reserved for weddings and important meetings. They looked tired, human, but there was still that edge, the tension of a family convinced that love can be measured in obedience. I held Lily's hand tightly. We're going to speak for you first, I whispered. She nodded, small but determined. Inside, the air smelled of paper and old books. I seated myself opposite Karen and Robert, my hands clasped like I was bracing for impact. Karen's eyes flickered to Lily. Emma, she started, her voice carefully bright. No if, I said evenly. Say it for Lily, not yourself. Say it clearly. Karen swallowed. I'm sorry I didn't set a place for Lily. I nodded. That was all I needed to hear for now. Robert cleared his throat. We messed up, he said quietly. Thank you for telling us. The words were small, but for the first time in years, there was space for them to be true. No gaslighting, no excuses, just acknowledgement. I could feel the tension in Karen's posture. Max is sensitive, she offered weakly. Lily is 7, I said. She's ours. She's not second. She deserves to be seen. Robert pulled out a folded paper. About the rent, he said carefully, as if approaching a bomb. I sent resources, I replied. I can help you call. Karen bristled. We're not helpless. Good, I said. Then you don't need our money. She recoiled slightly, like I'd yanked the rug out from under her. But there it was, the truth. Boundaries don't feel polite. They feel sharp, sometimes unbearable, but they are necessary. After the meeting, we walked outside. Lily ran ahead, kicking at leaves caught in icy puddles, shrieking with laughter. Michael's hand found mine. You handled that beautifully, he said softly. I exhaled. It felt brutal, but it was right. Lily returned with a twig crown for each of us. Queens of the snow, she declared. Her joy, undiminished by the adult drama around her, reminded me why I had to fight. Back home, Michael and I codified the rules on a whiteboard. No one makes Lily small. No one makes Mom small. No one makes Dad small. Lily gets her place. All money requests require documentation. Lily decorated her box with stars. She even added her own. Practice letters. Tongue out. Everyone gets a plate. It was a small act, but symbolic. She was learning that respect is non-negotiable, that fairness is worth defending. Over the next week, the Bennett family tried the usual tactics: calls, texts, social media posts about respect and kids these days. I ignored most. Michael's mom sent a photo of a budget with empty lines filled. This is stupid, but okay. We laughed quietly. Small victories. Boundaries don't need fanfare. They just need consistency. One evening, Lily whispered from the couch, Mom, did I do wrong at Christmas? No, I said, pressing a kiss to her forehead. You did everything right. You are seen. You are important. That's the rule. She smiled, curling up with her fox, and I felt a quiet triumph. Foreshadowing for Part 4. While immediate conflicts have been addressed, underlying tensions remain. Michael's brother and his mother may test Emma's boundaries in the coming months. There's potential for escalation, both subtle and overt, threatening the fragile balance she has created. January arrived like fresh snow covering old footprints. The apartment smelled faintly of cocoa and pine needles, reminders of the Christmas we had protected. Lily ran circles through the living room, Fox stuffed under her arm, cheeks flushed with winter excitement. Michael and I had set the whiteboard rules at the kitchen, visible and firm. No one makes Lily small. No one makes Mom small. No one makes Dad small. Everyone gets a plate. Documented money requests only. These weren't just rules, they were shields. That morning, we received the first test. A group text from Karen read, Family dinner next month. We'll cover money. Everyone eats. Everyone helps clean. Don't bring extra food. I paused, heart tightening. Then I typed, If there's a plate for Lily, we'll be there. Simple, non-negotiable. The day of the dinner, I carried only a salad Lily had proudly made. The apartment she left behind for the trip smelled of baked bread and promise. The Bennett household was prepared differently this time. 8 plates were set, including one labeled Lily in shaky marker with a star sticker. Her face lit up like someone had switched on a lamp inside her chest. That's mine, she said. Yes, I said, it is. Dinner was quiet, polite, almost surreal. Not perfect, not healed, but far better than the past. No favoritism, no invisible child. Lily ate, laughed, helped clean, and left the table proud. Back home, Michael and I reviewed the day. Small gestures, yes, but they carried weight. The balance of respect had been restored, carefully, deliberately. We opened the envelope Dad had left at our door weeks prior. Inside was a photograph of Lily and me in the courtroom, the day her adoption was finalized. On the back, in Robert's handwriting, Proud of the woman you are becoming, Dad. I showed Michael. He pressed the corner of the photo with his thumb, anchoring reality. Keep this, he said softly. The following weeks were quiet, intentionally so. Mom posted passive-aggressive comments about respect on Facebook. I ignored them. Nate sulked. Dad sent pictures of the garden, dirt to sprouts, sometimes a green check mark. Lily added little stars to her whiteboard. Practice letters. Tongue out. Everyone gets a plate. Boundaries had become our quiet rebellion. Small acts of rebellion wrapped in love and consistency. They taught Lily, Michael, and me that respect isn't optional. It isn't negotiable. One morning, Lily curled beside me on the couch, Fox tucked under her arm, and whispered, Mom, did I do wrong? No, baby, I said, forehead to hers. You did everything right. You are seen. You are important. That's the rule. She smiled, satisfied, and drifted off to sleep. I sat back, letting the quiet of our home settle around us. Peace wasn't perfection, but it was ours. Foreshadowing lingered gently. The Bennetts remained a family capable of pressure and manipulation, but Emma now had clarity, strength, and firm boundaries. Any future attempt to undermine Lily would meet not just resistance, but immovable resolve. Michael's hand found mine. "We did it," he said. "Yes," I whispered, "and we'll keep doing it." The apartment glowed with soft lamplight. Outside, snowflakes swirled like tiny ghosts of past conflicts, now held at bay. Love without respect was a debt I would never pay again. Lily slept, Fox beside her. The whiteboard rules stood bright on the fridge. Every plate had its place. Every voice mattered. This was our life, ours to protect, ours to nurture, ours to love. Weeks turned into months, and life settled into a rhythm that felt intentional, deliberate, and gentle. The whiteboard rules remained visible, a constant reminder. Boundaries aren't punishment, they're protection. Lily thrived. Her small victories, drawing foxes, practicing letters, claiming her place at the table, were celebrated fully, without comparison or dismissal. She learned that being seen wasn't about winning someone else's approval. It was about claiming her own space. Michael and I felt the subtle but profound shift too. We were no longer reacting, negotiating, or tiptoeing. Decisions were made together based on values, fairness, and love, not obligation, guilt, or expectation. One morning, Lily sat at the table with a crayon in her hand, quietly labeling a new batch of drawings. I joined her, sipping coffee. "Mom," she said, "I like our rules. Everyone gets a plate." I smiled, heart full. "Yes, baby, everyone does." The simplicity of her statement carried the weight of months of tension, confrontation, and careful planning. It was the lesson she had absorbed without knowing the labor it took. Dignity, fairness, and visibility matter. We still heard from the Bennetts. Karen tried occasional gentle prodding. Nate sent mocking texts. Robert occasionally added check marks to garden photos. But each contact was now filtered through the lens of clear boundaries and unwavering resolve. None of their attempts could unsettle us. Our family, small and fiercely defended, had become our sanctuary. The lessons of Christmas, the invisible plates, and the quiet confrontations became a blueprint for protecting love without being consumed by it. Even mundane moments carried meaning. Michael and I froze portions of meals for future nights. We planned small, achievable savings. We celebrated the ordinary, pancakes, cocoa, and the way Lily hugged her fox after a long day at school. Peace was fragile but ours. Not perfect, not without scars, but ours. The final lesson, unspoken yet crystal clear. Love without respect is a debt you cannot repay. You can give endlessly, but without boundaries, kindness becomes exploitation. I had learned, fiercely and gently, that protecting Lily, and by extension ourselves, was not selfish. It was necessary. One snowy evening, I looked at Lily asleep under a blanket that smelled faintly of laundry soap and cocoa. Her fox tucked beside her, her tiny hands curled around it. I whispered softly, "You are seen. You are loved. You have your place." The whiteboard rules gleamed on the fridge, simple and unyielding. No one makes Lily small. No one makes Mom small. No one makes Dad small. Everyone gets a plate. And the last most important, love and respect are inseparable. I closed the kitchen door quietly, letting the light from the lamp spill softly across the room. Outside, snow continued to fall, undisturbed, peaceful. We didn't need perfection. We needed clarity. We needed love that could stand the test of boundaries. And now, finally, we had it.